Yeah, I saw this.
So recently, Adam22 did an interview, and he interviewed one of the people that was there during the home invasion. Yeah, Blackstar, the home invasion and murder of Pop Smoke.
Did you watch
which was 3 years ago at this point now.
Did you watch that interview?
I watched that interview. I did.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I did watch that interview.
A lot of the comments, they were kind of not on his side, but keep that shit a band. If he was in a black and white thumbnail and on soft white underbelly, that shit would have hit.
Yeah,
because he was oddly reflective.
Yeah, in a
real subtle, and it's like, nigga, I don't even really know, but daddy issues.
Well, it's like
when he said that, I was like, wow.
It felt like he thought about this.
He really,
nigga,
he really thought about this.
Nigga, it's the incarnation of like trauma. Like that's what we see. It's like, nigga, this is just a bunch of bad events. This is what a bunch of bad events can lead to.
Yeah. Man, but I don't know.
And if we was
did you see it?
I saw it. And if we were gonna get mad at Adam, like,
so the world.
How are we gonna look at Vlad? Because if nobody's getting mad at Vlad, that means Pop Smoke is more.
No, people get mad at Vlad.
People get mad at Vlad.
Not really though, but for the most part, it feels like Pop Smoke's killer gets a lot more flack than Tupac's killer.
But to make your point even more pointed, nigga, like, think of a publication. Like, who interviewed Ted Bundy? All of these serial killers back in the day, there's like extensive news reports of them sitting down with a
Time magazine
with a white journalist, like, so why did you do it? And it's like, bitch, I'm crazy. Like, there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
So the fact that they getting on Adam about it, it's like,
and then and just to kind of throw that out there, like as a blanket statement or the overall consensus is hip hop is, I said, the hip hop community or culture is pissed at Adam right now.
Livid.
Like they're livid, and it's the highlighting people is DJ Akademiks. I wouldn't say DJ Akademiks is pissed. Taxstone is pissed, and then Rory as well from the Rory and Maul podcast.
And niggas is saying,
Rory
like,
pissed or is he drunk?
He's sober this time apparently.
That's important.
That's important.
You get some more angry.
Yeah. So but I didn't see this. Okay, so no, go to that video that was on that homepage. No, the one that was on that homepage.
Talking about on the
go to the YouTube homepage. Go back.
Got you.
Yeah.
The more I'm thinking about it, that interview was one of the like just realest conversations about a fucked up incident.
I think we're gonna remember this interview for a long.
Scroll down.
I think we're gonna remember this interview for a long time.
That one. That's what I want to see. That one because
I literally couldn't stop watching it.
I couldn't
because Taxstone is on Twitter Space right now. Now Adam did already say that Taxstone was like going in on him in the DM.
Yeah,
but Taxstone is on Twitter Space right now as we're recording. Because what was it? Combat Jet Day.
Who's the young lady?
Yeah,
that's Rocky Thunder. And he's on Twitter Space right now, right? That was the one that you sent.
It was Combat Jack.
Combat Jet Day, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're about to hear, I guess, a piece of him going off right now.
This immediately.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes old. So,
and he started expressing himself about me on podcasts. And my thing is, right, what I really realized with this podcast shit. So, for instance, right, yesterday, I direct message Adam22 from No Jumper, right? I say, yo, Adam, because he's been DMing me for weeks, asking me to come on his show. But I was not answering that nigga because I'm actually trying to stay away from that cloth of white people. I know that cloth of white people, they white people love. So I'm trying to stay away from that shit, right? So,
Haram.
when this dude, so when I seen the Pop Smoke interview, I seen people talking about it, the dude who killed Pop Smoke, and I'm like, I don't know. The Pop Smoke when I was in jail. At 17, my friend Bear used to call me Pop Smoke all the time. So I know the kid was young or whatever, whatever it might be. But my point was when I told Adam, I said, Adam, it was tasteless for you to interview this dude's killer. And he said, how different is it with interviewing you? So I said, it's a big difference. The difference is that I was scheduled to do your podcast way before I had an incident. I was coming to LA, right? And you was interviewing me because I had a better podcast than you, remember? You was up there saying I had the best podcast on your podcast, right? That's why you interviewed me. You didn't interview me because I did something to somebody or somebody said, you didn't interview me for that. And when you tried to bring up anything like that, we didn't speak on that. I never bragged about doing anything, no harm to anybody. Right? I've never done that. So you got this kid up there talking about, I don't regret doing what I did. And my whole point was, Adam, this kid has nothing to do with hip hop. he took somebody away from hip hop, and you're supposed to be a podcast that speaks on hip hop culture. But I said, now I know you're not a podcast that's speaking on hip hop culture. You're a podcast that wants to just exploit Black culture. So, it's not about hip hop for you, because I said, Adam, if a boom right now killed you on Hollywood Boulevard, would not have a platform for him to ask why he did that. You know what platform speaks to him? The news. You understand? If Channel 12 News, if Channel 2, if Channel 7 wanted to speak to that kid, then that's a proper interview. That's not an interview for you to give. So I said, another thing you got to understand is the reason I haven't been responding to you is because you have that old blood dude on your show all the time. And this dude is up there talking about he got sex tapes with Nipsey Hussle. He's up there talking about he has all this shit about a dead person. Now, this dude has a wife. He has kids. He has a baby mother, a mother, brothers. Speaking falsehoods on people and trying to hurt people that's alive. You're so mad at a dead person that you want to hurt the people that's alive in his family. And I said, bro, I never was out here to hurt nobody. Speak brash, you understand? I could cut ass, but when I realize that somebody's offended or hurt,
I was about to say, yeah, obviously he has
that was a savage response, Adam.
Some hard feelings.
No, that was a savage response, bro.
But it is
he basically said, like, nigga, I just interviewed a hoodlum. I interviewed you, nigga.
That is kind of crazy. But
bro, that's crazy. That's
crazy.
But
Taxstone's rebuttal makes perfect sense as well. The only thing that, like, I don't see how he's deciphering between these two. Tax said if CBS 7 wanted to interview the nigga, that's cool.
He almost made it seem like he wasn't qualified for it.
But yeah, so like, what is the difference? Because like, I mean, I understand if you don't look at Adam and see a real journalist. I mean, he probably don't see that in the mirror. But for all intents and purposes, he is that's a media outlet.
Right, but it's not a news outlet though.
Or it's the form of media.
It is news.
That's what the difference between media and news is. I don't think there's much
podcasting isn't like a journalistic expression. For like newsworthy shit.
The problem is like news and media has become media and entertainment.
Okay, wait, hold on. I know the difference real quick. Podcasting, if he was just dropping his interviews and shit like that, No Jumper is also a news site because they're dropping hip hop news on their Instagram, their Twitter. Like people are going to them for news. So they also outside of just dropping podcasts, they are a news platform as well. For this branch of news.
Some topics I get for LOI is because I saw the story on No Jumper.
Akademiks is a streamer and he's also a news outlet.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's news, but what Tax was, I felt like Tax was talking about like journalist. Like it's a difference between news and journalist.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily agree with what Tax is saying because he's pretty much saying that if that's the only, like this type of person can only be interviewed at like a 60 minutes or that doesn't make sense to me. Like why would they wouldn't even, they're not even interested in that story.
They don't even know what set he's claiming.
They don't even know who Pop Smoke is. It just wouldn't happen.
Shit, he didn't even know who Pop Smoke was.
Who?
What's his name? Blackstar?
Yeah, allegedly.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even know who the fuck he was. He thought he was a model or something.
Yeah. So
but when I first watched it, I was like, my first inclination was like, man, this is kind of fucked up. But eventually I was like,
All right, so yeah,
why do you think
the whole outrage?
Why do you think that's the first inclination though? Because I feel like a lot of people they didn't just get past that feeling. You know what I mean? They didn't think about it.
Because yeah, that one's kind of big, right?
Yeah,
that's some other.
Kind of crazy.
That shit got some body to
it. That shit casted a shadow.
But so the reason why I felt like that is the obvious. Adam has a history of doing scandalous shit against black people, so it's like, all right, man, this nigga just at it again. But I had to I didn't know Pop Smoke, so I had to stop taking it like personal for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody in a weird way had to do it, and I didn't end the interview.
Yeah,
I didn't end the interview with like, man, we didn't need this. Like in a weird way, I was like,
I know what you mean.
There were some moments where I was like, all right, we're literally seeing what happened before everything.
And I need to hear if these are the type of niggas running around.
Paced,
I need to hear. Yeah, if these are the type of niggas running around doing things like that, I need to hear how their brain is working.
Not always, though.
Not always, but I need to hear a couple of them.
And they didn't glorify anything.
Exactly.
They didn't. They definitely
didn't.
It
was no point in the interview. He was like, man, you a legend out here in these streets, nigga. You kill Pop.
Well, that was another thing, too, that Tax had brought up just now. And I don't know if Tax watched the whole thing because even though he said he's not sorry, it didn't it didn't come from a. I'm not sorry for what the fuck I did. It didn't come. There was a. It didn't feel like it came from
even when he said it. I understood what he meant, and then he kind of went on to explain it. Like, sorry doesn't mean the same thing as I apologize in his mind.
Yes,
even though that sounds stupid, like being sorry for something is different than like my fault.
It's literally like,
so when you say sorry,
because he said, "I wish it didn't happen. I wish it didn't happen. I wish it went another way, but I'm not sorry for anything that I did."
He literally said, "I'm not sorry. I feel horrible about what happened." Like he took it to the next level.
Yeah,
there's no difference between a veteran speaking and this nigga. Like, this is a soldier's mind.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it's not like, it's like, shit, nigga, squeeze first, you know, be kind of sorry later.
Self-preservation.
Because you got to survive.
And context matters so much in this situation because it's like we just looking at an interview of Pop Smoke's killer. We're not looking at
it's not even
what
technically
we're not looking at what actually happened was Pop Smoke's robber that ended in a murder.
Right.
Because in the whole interview, he was like, nigga, that was never our intentions. We weren't trying to come and kill a nigga.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a home invasion.
I low-key don't even think he was the person that pulled the trigger.
No, he's not.
Nah.
Even though that's not confirmed.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not confirmed.
The one that actually is the one that did it is still in jail right now.
He doesn't even speak like he was.
He does speak like he would pull a trigger though, for sure.
Like he would, but he didn't
or
speak. He didn't speak like this was what happened. You know what I mean?
But he also didn't answer that question in the interview either. But if you read some of the articles, they didn't say who it was. And he never admitted to anything in the interview. This is another thing. So when the outrage happened, when like all these people were like outraged, I was more shocked that niggas were outraged. I ain't gonna lie. Because I was like, who else was gonna do it? Somebody was gonna do it.
This was gonna happen.
Vlad.
But so it's like
either one.
It's like there's no way.
But in 30 years though.
No. Hot off the press. Yeah.
And then he would have did a rewind 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
When the Pop Smoke posthumous song dropped.
Yeah. So it's like I was surprised that people were surprised that he did it. I just felt like who else would do it?
But I get what you mean, but
is there validity, like so much validity in what they're doing that maybe they're just the first ones to consistently try to break through and doing this? Like, you think later on this type of interview from hip hop media outlets is going to be more received? Like more well received?
And that's the funny thing. People, AK was talking about how like this is going to set a bad precedent for like, you know, the next time a rapper gets shot, you know, a nigga's probably going to want to interview him. I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Yeah,
I feel like it's gonna.
It doesn't happen now.
I feel like it's gonna stay specific to two platforms, Adam and Vlad, or you know whichever other one.
Terrence Gangsta Williams is on a tour right now.
Exactly,
and his whole tour is about the 40 people that he killed.
Exactly.
If this would have
he's going to everybody, say cheese, all that shit.
And he didn't even kill anybody that's like a Pop Smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like local drug
dealers. If this interview
would
would have happened on Soft White Underbelly, nobody bats an eye. That nigga interviews rapists, junkies,
he does
inbreds,
nigga,
like,
everything.
At a certain point, how do you justify that shit? But he don't ever really get smoked for, from what I've seen.
It's only hip hop. I don't know, man. It's like I don't know why we're acting surprised that shit like this is happening. It's just, especially with some of the music. You know what I'm saying? Like
in terms of Adam
and
doing
just in general, just what's celebrated in hip hop anyway. Like this street thing. So like another thing is like you're taking advantage of the youth. Blackstar had a manager in there.
Yeah.
Like he was not just like some young kid that was like, yo, I just did my thing. I just got out. Let me go. He was up. It seemed like he was well represented and tactical with all of his answers. He didn't seem like some.
He would have been fine by himself.
Yes, it didn't feel like he was somebody.
You could tell he held his own in that interrogation room.
It didn't feel like he was somebody that
next question
was being taken advantage of at all. To me, I didn't get that.
But what do you mean?
And you know you remember that there was a video of him at the No Jumper store, like really popping shit, like nigga, you say my name, I want bread for my clout and all that shit.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that was two different people.
Yeah, he was pressing shit up there.
I don't even like what the fuck was that about then?
That was him.
Because how do you go from this to like having the interview happen? He just kind of bullied his way into it?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a real cordial conversation to have bullied your way into sitting down there.
Yeah.
He even thanked him at the end for the opportunity. He was like, you know, a lot of niggas go to No Jumper, man. Appreciate it.
Because apparently he got paid $7,500.
Not bad.
Allegedly. But what do you mean by like hip hop isn't Reddit? You know, that's loose.
Right.
But he had
he definitely got paid. There's no question about that.
It looked like the nigga he's a robber. But to your point of like you were surprised. Like, what do you mean you were surprised?
We celebrate.
I still
we celebrate.
We
violence
do
shit all the
celebrate
time.
violence, but at the same time, I don't think it's surprising to have a certain amount of respect for our legends that have passed. Like, it's almost like what Ryan Garcia did, right? Like, it's not the worst thing somebody said, but we should still vilify. Like, you shouldn't get away with that just because that's not the worst thing somebody has said.
Who's getting away with something in this scenario?
If we celebrate the violence in the music and we really love it and we enjoy it, why are we why are we celebrating that? But then when I want to hear them off a track and just tell me some shit, why is that an issue?
Because it's too real. I think too real for a lot of people is just
But we know it's real. We know we know
it's real, but
like
it's still
when
that
we heard
thin.
those Chicago songs. We also heard the news say 50 people were shot at this weekend.
So,
but the thing is, the 808s, that's a real thin veil over that newscast.
Yeah.
You don't
plus,
really see that part because you too busy jamming to the fucking.
And plus, that's art. Like, nigga, the day God comes, you think people are gonna be like, well, I knew this was gonna happen. I read it in the Bible. No, niggas gonna be running for their life. It's not gonna be like, just because, like.
You understand what he's saying?
I thought I explained that correctly.
Because I was confused too. Now I looked at his face and now I felt insecure because I was like, "You look
But
like he's
no
keeping
idea.
up with this shit."
To your point,
I wanted his confidence to stay up there and just keep going.
But to your point, I don't think those two connect at all. Like, just because you glorify it, but you want to be sad when a nigga dies, like,
right.
nigga, yes, like, because not every rapper raps about killing people. Like, that's not true at all.
Yeah,
And
but
because
we're not talking about Chance the Rapper going to, like, Chance the Rapper catching a body and then you know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about somebody who was gang. They rapped about it. You know what I'm
He
saying?
also didn't kill people. Like, Pop Smoke wasn't a killer.
We don't know that.
He made
We
drill
don't know
music,
that, but
he made drill music, which was a little violent. It was a little violent.
Drill music is violent. That's why I love it.
It was violent. Yeah, he
You know what I
created
mean?
violent violent dance parties.
But to his point, it's kind of like why we have raw sex. Like, we know the consequences. But ideally, it's so much fun while we're doing it. It's like, fuck the consequences.
What about the person who would say that we're just telling recounts of our life and how we came up?
And that's what I was about to get. Yeah.
That's what a lot of, especially nowadays, are saying.
It's an artistic expression. Granted, it is also a business. Rap, shoot a gun, kill a nigga.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't think that's a good reason to say, like, oh, well, he died. You live by it, you die by it. Like, no, not at all. Like, it's.
Because isn't the interview the same thing? Like, I'm telling a recount of how I actually got here.
Yeah, that's why
like
I'm saying I don't
life.
understand the issue. It's just a different medium, but it's the
Right.
same thing that we fuck with.
It's too real.
And just like you said, if he was on Software Underbelly, nobody would give a fuck.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, nobody
Right.
would care. It's the right setting for that. But I think,
but the fact the idea of that we should have some respect for the legends. Like, I don't think it should just be straight heartless. If, like, you know, a nigga that raps about shooting and killing niggas die. Like, if Gucci Man die,
I think it's straight heartless for everybody. I feel like it's pretty consistent.
and
in
do
our
you-
community.
You think it's disrespectful to the person to interview like the killer in that instance? Because you keep talking about this having a certain respect for legends, so it's like we can't tell the full story of what happened out of and my admiration.
we were talking about the human level of, like, the empathy. That's a journalistic idea. Like,
What?
that's two different, like, spectrums of, like, that's emotional. But in terms of, like, journalistic view, I mean, it's like somebody's gonna do it. And like I said, I didn't feel like I wasted my time. Like I said, I didn't feel like I wasted my time after I got done.
Yeah,
but what we was talking about is
we all watched the interview. That's one of the biggest things. We all watched the interview.
Round of applause.
And it didn't feel as
Niggas watch something
savage.
full.
yeah.
It didn't feel as savage as it's being.
Especially
lashed
because
out.
there were points in times where Adam was like, well, it seems like you're kind of wishy-washy with this apology, dude. I'm kind of getting some mixed feelings about it. Like, it was points in times like what you were saying.
Nah, he wasn't saying it like that. He was pretty much saying that. He was saying that in the position that you're in, like, you can't be remorseful if you're a gangster. It seems like it feels like if you're if you show too much empathy, people say you're a bitch and all this other shit. And that's when he was like, no, like, let's be clear. Like, I'm not sorry about what happened. I'm not sorry for what I did, but I wish it didn't happen.
You got to understand, like, he said that about 3 to 4 times throughout the whole interview.
Yeah, and the
like,
first time he said it, Adam kind of was like, well, you're not, but he said something specific. He was like, that's a crazy thing to say. Like, you're not remorseful. Yeah, there was a moment where he was kind of like, it was funny because I'm like, damn, did Adam just like question somebody else's morality?
Right.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird. He was like, come on now, nigga. You a scumbag. Coming from Adam.
It's a little crazy. I was just so shocked at how many people were pissed at Adam.
Why?
I just thought.
But honestly, if you were a betting man,
you would see it coming, kind of.
And you was like, all right, let me put money on there being outraged that Adam22 interviewed Pop Smoke's killer.
Well, this is the
thing.
You
would put your money on the fact that people would be upset about that.
What blows my mind is that, like, if we're talking about like Adam's morality, which we can all say, like, based on his lifestyle, is questionable to a lot of people.
It's fluid.
It's fucked, right? So it's like, of all the people, this feels like the easiest decision for him to make. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody else might be like, fuck no, fuck no, fuck no. But it's like, okay, even if Vlad has grown, like maybe Vlad was like worse with his morality on the type of people he would platform and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like Adam is at that point yet. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, literally, who else would he go to?
This might be one of the better times to do what he did too, because it wasn't like as fresh of an incident.
The nigga's been free for 11 months.
Yeah.
So it's
he's
not
been
like,
out for 11 months?
Yeah. So it's not like he got out.
He just got out like a couple weeks ago.
Nah, bro. He's been out for 11 months. He said he went to college. He was living the complete square life.
Oh, that's right. He did say that. Shit, I missed that. Yeah, he did say that.
Like, would this have been worse if he did this right after somehow?
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Why does it feel like right after, though?
Because we only care about him now because of the interview.
Because he just started popping up.
He started popping up.
And I think what happens is your mind paints the rest of the headline. When you see Pop Smoke killer interview, you thinking, oh, he just got out.
Yeah, like
this
that.
shit fresh. Like we've been waiting.
Even though I heard him say 11 months, that sounds like he just got out 2 days ago, and it's like he's in a no jumper seat.
Yeah,
within 72 hours.
Nigga,
like, that's how it feels.
He's already almost got his ankle monitor off twice, nigga.
Yeah, but let's watch. I will say one thing though too, like. Okay, like in my mind, Adam was gonna do that regardless, or somebody else was gonna get it. Like, I wonder who else was gonna do it because I don't know who was gonna do it. But I will say that
anybody.
But I will say that
honestly, nobody would.
Adams, yes, they would have.
Nah, I'm gonna be honest because I'm thinking about it. After he got paid to do this, I don't think anybody.
Adam said that somebody else was going to do this. Somebody was going to pick this interview up. No
Akademiks was like, nigga, your manager hit me up. I was like, ugh, I would never do this.
Oh, they were shopping around?
Yeah, they were shopping him around. That's why Akademiks said it in the stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. This nigga was going to get his interview in. It was like, it was going to happen.
He allegedly got offered.
There is no way somebody involved with the Pop Smoke murder that's looking to do an interview was about to send out 100 DMs or however many platforms are, 10 to 15, and one didn't say yes.
7,500.
Even if Adam said no.
7,500 was the low ball offer for him to speak on this. He said that he got like a documentary like contract that was for like a large lump sum.
Right. So he was gonna do it either way.
I want to say $1 million, but I don't want to just throw that out there.
Somebody was gonna platform him. Somebody was gonna platform him. Yeah, I just thought it was funny that everybody was re-questioning his Adam morality.
But that. I agree with you on like your overall thought on this, but I don't think that the whole somebody was gonna do it anyway argument is better. You know what I mean?
The only reason I keep bringing that up is just because it does kind of like, even though like I guess just to make it be known, if he asked me to do an interview, I wouldn't have done the shit, right? I don't have no interest in it, but I know that certain things are just gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, people are in these outrage and in an uproar off some shit that's just always gonna happen. If something like this happens and he wants to do an interview, somebody gonna platform him. Whether it's you or not, it's gonna happen.
But
I also see why. I feel like why Adam held that Kodak Black interview a little bit longer, because I feel like those pictures got posted a little bit over a week ago, and I thought that interview was gonna be out by now. But I think he was waiting to get this out the way because it was like, you know, sweet with the sour kind of thing. Because it's like, we're happy to see a Kodak Black interview, kind of.
Maybe.
Maybe
Most people. I mean, it's
it
Kodak.
is.
It's
It's
Kodak.
Kodak though.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
People
little bit.
Kodak.
I know what you mean, but it depends on what he
they're gonna
admits
hate
to.
me for this. I know they're gonna hate me for this.
Let me
Yeah.
have something in the tuck.
Let me at least
afterwards.
give them something that I know they want to
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
Whether they hate me or not,
Yeah.
niggas want to see a Kodak Black interview.
If he, what he should have done the sandwich method, did a good one first. Flip, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now, do you think that Adam got a good return on investment? 7,500.
for sure.
sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
How much you
And
think
then
he
all
made
the
off of
eyes.
this? Let the Jewish calculator in you start going on.
More than that.
I don't know because I haven't looked at none of the views.
Okay.
He's gonna do at least. He's gonna do at least 15. He's gonna do at least 20,000
Okay.
off of clips, if not more. I feel like 20,000 might be lowballing it. The more people get mad at it, the more the clips are gonna go
He
up.
censored the blunt.
Yeah,
Like after every nigga, it was the No Jumper logo was moving. He was like, nigga, I don't
Yeah, that shit-
Yo, they had
Yeah.
that cursor perfect.
yeah. They made sure that shit was for sure.
was-
Matter of fact, and let's keep everybody in here. Let's look at Rory had something to say about it. Rory said, "Fuck that nigga, bro."
The killer or Adam?
Adam.
just on an integrity level.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
he said it's disgusting that this happens.
A New
sorry,
York
go back-
native
go back
said
up.
it's disgusting it happened.
Adam22 under fire, Pop Smoke killer. What's that link?
It's a Chicks video.
Okay, okay. Do Rory Adam22 and search. This is on a Twitter space from last night, which was Saturday night. Do spaces. Oh, it's right there. It's the yellow one, down third one. Yeah.
Matt Hoffa would definitely not interview this nigga, Ryan.
Nope.
I don't know.
I don't think he could.
Don't start from the
He's
jump.
from Brooklyn too, though. I think Pop Smoke's from Brooklyn. Started from the beginning
Oh.
for sure.
Nah, that wouldn't happen.
Enemy territory.
He'd give him a bad haircut.
Yeah.
My
So you
friend
mean-
breaking up between Adam22 interviewing the killer of Pop Smoke.
I would argue this is
Way
just-
different between Bridget and Mandy having a podcast breakup and both of them being my friends and me dancing. Yes, you are correct.
I
I'm
think
saying
Adam-
somebody died. Somebody's child was murdered, and then they put the killer on a microphone for bullshit. Way different than Bridget and Mandy breaking up. So don't do the dancing thing with me right now, Dave.
I'm not dancing. I'm giving you insight into why this is something that revolves around layers and layers. I don't know why I gotta. You didn't answer my question, and it was about something way more trivial than this. Somebody dying. Like that was just a podcast breakup. That was something that I think everybody was writing was on the wall. I didn't even push the issue because I knew you was holding back.
It's cool to say fuck Adam, bro. I've been in the situation of just sometimes you gotta say fuck people. It's cool. Just say fuck Adam. It's fine.
Word, say it, Dan.
Like it's fine to say.
How do you feel about it, Danny?
Like, it's cool.
What are your thoughts on it? Like,
you know that
do
was
you
nasty.
agree that
You
it's
know that
corny?
was crazy. You know shit is above just YouTube clips. Like, come on.
I don't know. I mean, Adams, it is. I
Now
wouldn't-
you yawning.
No, I'm tired.
Same.
It's 12:30. But yeah, I
hit pause real
obviously
quick.
I wouldn't do that.
So like, yeah, Rory's energy
So I don't
is
feel like
like,
debating, bro.
yeah, Rory's energy with this is like, I wonder if this is going to be a consistent energy between a lot of people because since there are people like, I wonder if he's like, it's like we have to choose a side right now on some fuck Adam shit. I think that's what's happening. I wonder if that's going to be happening. That's the energy Rory has with Danny,
Okay.
where he's like, it's cool to say fuck Adam, bro. Like,
This is also the
But,
energy that Twitter Spaces is inciting.
That's true.
That's where you bring that energy.
he did also say that he had already said in his mind, fuck Adam before this happened.
Which is that's important.
Which is, yeah.
Because
so I don't-
nobody
yeah.
nobody who's saying anything about Adam right now didn't already feel this way before.
Right, yeah,
This
right.
is just another like instance of like, all right,
Yeah.
another layup.
Bro, how
We
many,
gonna talk shit
how
about
many
this.
Adam instances do we need before we're like, it's just surprised at the outrage that's so consistent. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, Adam has done countless things like this that like we've been pissed at, right?
Should be expected at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
just why it's kind of,
It's almost like niggas have like that motherly hope that her son is eventually gonna get his shit together.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she don't want to deal with the
He's
reality
gonna,
that he's a bum.
he's gonna grow out of this.
Yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
also
it's just a phase.
Yeah.
it's less expectation because he's not a part of the culture for real. He's
Because he's white. That's really the biggest issue is the fact
he's
that
a
white.
pagan.
Yeah, it's
But
less
it-
expectation and it's more contrast. We see it like it's just more visible.
Yeah.
This white guy that looks like a hell's angel is talking to.
Is it because he already isn't liked though? What if it was somebody who was like actually liked?
Well, but nobody's talking about.
They would be unliked.
Nobody has any flack for 𝔓𝔦𝔑 right now,
Right.
And he has Terrence Gangsta Williams up there, literally on the tour talking about the 40 people he killed. So it's like that's not like there's no outrage.
But you know what's crazy
at all. So it's like likability does probably play a factor. Go ahead, my bad.
But what's even more surprising about you being shocked at people's reaction? I forgot it.
Sorry,
It's gone. It's gone.
That's one of those.
It was one of those. It was a lot of mental gymnastics to get it up.
It would have went to a perfect place, and you try better next time.
But see if you can, tee up something like that.
I do. Nah, but
I'm surprised that you surprised that people are surprised. Put it that way.
Oh, okay.
And the Terrence,
You see that it was a lot.
Yeah,
it was a lot to get that off.
Yeah.
and with the Terrence thing, he didn't kill 40 bystanders for all intents and purposes.
Elaborate.
Okay.
It wasn't like 40 robberies going wrong.
You're right.
It's a little bit. It's a difference.
There wasn't a lot of innocence.
And granted, I haven't watched any of his interviews in a long time.
The life value matters,
The occupation of,
which is hypocritical then.
It is, but
If the life value matters, you know what I'm saying? If these are just 40 motherfuckers that we don't know, it's whatever. But
That
we
were-
love,
that were in the
but we
streets.
love Pop
my
Smoke.
grandma
But let's be honest. It should be
crying
the
about
same
my
thing,
grandma crying about getting robbed is different from a robber crying about getting robbed. You get what I mean?
Like a criminal getting robbed.
It's a different level of like, nigga, you shouldn't be crying. You get what I mean?
nigga, even a little white girl going missing for decades, that's like a sadder news story than a plane getting blown up or something. We'll talk about that plane for maybe a couple of weeks, but we'll be looking for that missing white girl forever.
And that's been,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just in terms of how America's gonna run with it,
Right.
which matters more.
That's
It's a when you talk about the
And
amount
Adam's-
of lives lost,
and Adam
it
has
doesn't
been,
really weigh up the same. But little white girl.
and Adam's been doing scandalous shit for forever. I mean, and honestly, I feel like this is the first scandalous shit he's honestly done in a minute. Like letting the black dude pummel your girl, that's one thing, but
How long ago?
that's
was
not
that?
even.
I don't know. It feels like forever though. Honestly.
Yeah.
It feels like forever, and that's not bad for like black society. You know what I mean?
Wonder how long Leonard thinks it's been.
Adam,
At least
let's
12
stay
years.
on
You're gay.
Something had to make.
Yeah, ready?
It's funny.